Oh my god, I don't know whose hips are worse, mine or my dog's, who's now fast asleep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I have no idea what New South Wales state organisations actually need to be dealt with. They're all scam from police and other organisations using false information about me. So I lived in this area here of Rushcutters Bay for a very long time, one of the longest periods of my life. But besides coming, when you come to go to areas as kids and stuff, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually coming and staying and living in an area and actually moving into an area, when I'm an adult. So, yeah. Anyway, I was talking about Lloyd Molesky earlier. Whatever happened to him? What it looks like now? I haven't seen him since 2001. Like literally, so in the year 2000, I used to travel up here, and I used to park around. So it was virtually so when you go up to where Edgecliff Centre is, and it's sort of behind the Edgecliff Centre. The only way I can sort of, yeah, it's like it's directly behind the Edgecliff Centre. And you had to take a little narrow sort of laneway, and you walk down the laneway, and you turn to your left. There's houses just along sort of like this sort of area there, and it was in a terraced house there. And I can tell you exactly. So you walked in, and so there's photos of me. I wish he was still. I hope he's still alive, and I hope he's still got the photos of me. Stunning photos of me naked when I'm 20. There's actually a photo of me leaning out. I'd love a copy of it. On the grid. He actually put it up on some gay websites and so forth. So he actually created this gay website. And so there's this metal door, like a security door. And I'm leaning back on it. It was fantastic. So he took some fantastic photos of me. Anyway, so when you walk in, it's a terrace house, you walk into the hallway. The room on the right hand side, he had like Japanese sort of paper screen off. So that was like a second bedroom downstairs, like it's black and white sort of papered screens, and that's where Andrew Rodder was staying when he was there. He wasn't there long, Andrew Rodder. Then you sort of came through, and he had like the sort of living room, kitchen, bathroom at the back. But then upstairs, because I used to hang upstairs with him, so when you got upstairs to his bedroom, he had it so sort of open up. It was weird, like so you could actually stand out on the roof like a balcony, but it was like a solid piece of timber of wood, like a wood block that you actually step onto to go out on the back. Oh yeah, I can remember. I've got a really good memory. I remember everything, and he probably, if he was still alive, and if Lloyd Molesky looks at this, he'd be like, oh, "That's what Justin looks like now." He was such a pretty boy twink. Yeah, I was a model. I was a pretty boy twink when I was 20. I don't look anything like I did then. Now, nothing. So Lloyd Molesky would remember how I looked when I was 20, and if he looked at me now, I'd be like, "Oh my god, that's not Justin." It's like, "Yep, it's me." That's how I look now at 47. Wow. So if he is alive, oh god, imagine if he would make contact with me. I haven't seen him since 2001. If he isn't, where's those photos of me? Who's got them? Oh, I'd love a copy of him. He did some beautiful photos of me naked. Anyway, long time ago. Wow, 27 years ago. Like I've said, I've been here around this area in Sydney. I mean, that's a long time. That's 27 years. That is 27 years. And I barely. So my mum's done something in the last 11 years because mum's trying to do some. Well, mum's been part of doing, like, family members are the ones that have actually been spreading false information. Because where my mother lives, for starters, I barely lived there for 6 years. Where my mother lives, she moved there when I was 10. But I barely lived there for 6 years. So the repeat of false information there is just rubbish because I've actually lived here, around these areas. Like, we're talking 27 years. I mean, I was hanging out with Lloyd when I was 20. Okay, before I had my 21st birthday, which was in. So even Zach Saba can confirm that I had my 21st birthday on Oxford Street. As for the party that Mum had at her place, that was in January 2000 because Amanda was moving. It was Amanda's it was her farewell. It was Amanda's farewell. Amanda was moving overseas, so they just created it. So oh, it's a birthday party as well, because we're not going to see her for her 21st. So my actual birthday, my actual 21st in April, was spent on Oxford. So I went out for dinner with friends on Oxford Street, my 21st. And here's the thing, my family have actually been the biggest ones of lying and spreading false information in the last 11 years. That's not true. And what I've just said is the facts. And everything I do, I give good detail. And why I give good detail is because if you are investigating, of to see if you can verify what I'm saying to be the truth, I've got a really good memory. As you can tell, I can still remember walking into his place, what it was like and so forth when I was talking about Lloyd Molesky. So that information, you can look and go, well, hang on, Justin's just described that's exactly what's inside Lloyd Molesky's house. It's like, exactly. Because, it backs up to where I've lived and where I've been. I've been saying this for years. I even wrote it to Sydney Parliament there on Oxford Street and said, look, there's wrong information because this is where I have been. So there's information that's wrong getting attached to me because I have been here living in these areas in the last 27 years. Anyway, there's the facts.